Fitness. I am TRC's fitness coordinator, Mary Ketterhagen. All you need for this class, if you weren't here earlier, is a wall and a chair or something elevated that you can put some weight on. And if you want to have a mat or something, if you need to put something under your knees, because we're going to do some mobility work before, but it is better, like I said earlier, if you're going to have your hands on the floor, not to have something terribly squishy underneath your hands, because it's going to be better for strengthening your wrists and doing the work that you need to do, well, making sure that you don't actually hurt your wrist while you're doing the work that you're doing. So let's go ahead and start out with a little bit of wrist mobility. I am going to do our wrist strengthening and mobility routine tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you want something more comprehensive and something that you can do not before you practice, but something you can do, a few times a week to get some stronger wrists in all these different ranges or better wrist mobility, that'll definitely be one that you can go back to over and over again. So meet me on your mat or on the floor and bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingers out wider than you think you could ever spread them out. You're going to squeeze the floor with this open-handed grip. So I want you to feel the base of your knuckles. I just called it, this is your index knuckle, middle finger knuckle. These are the ones at first knuckle that I'm talking about when I say that. Press those into the floor, and I want you to feel the entire thing, the entire rim of your hand pressing into the floor. When you're doing this, the main focus is that index knuckle and the middle finger knuckle, and making sure that this part underneath your thumb is still pressing into the floor. You want to have really super active hands, squeezing the floor, pushing the index knuckle and the base of your middle finger knuckle into the floor as you do that. Push out of your shoulders and roll your biceps out. So this is going to straighten your arms. Elbow pits are driving forward. Squeezing the floor with your open-handed grip or pressing the fingertips or the finger pads, pulling them back towards your knuckles. Lean forward. As you lean forward, push back for your index knuckle to come back to neutral. So do this a couple of times. Back and forth. You'll feel the tops of your hands driving your energy back to get your shoulders stacked over your wrists. So you're pushing out of the knuckles here at the end range, push back. Lean forward, push back. Lean forward, push back. A couple more times. And then stay in that forward position. Continue to spin your biceps out and push into the base of your inner part of your palm, as well as making sure you're not rolling out on that pinky edge. So feel the activation in the tops of your hands, feel the activation in the tops of your forearms. Keep that. Imagine you have to pull your fingers back towards your forearms. Keep that driving out of the biceps and the elbow pits forward, and then lean back into the heel of your hand. Lift your hands and hold for 10, 9, 8. You should feel everything kind of fired up. 5, 4, 3. Keep doing it. 2, 1. All right, bring the hands back down to the floor. Turn them over. Still spread your fingers out, roll your biceps forward. So elbow pits are still going forward. And just push down gently. This may feel kind of weird into the tops of your hands. I like to also press my fingernails into the floor when I do this. And then make fists. Bring your thumbs to the inside of your hands, knuckles on the floor, and roll all your weight into your first knuckle of your thumb. And then bring that back. If you want to sit back onto your toes, interlace your fingers, make a fist, squeeze your palms together, and then rotate just from your wrists, both directions. I feel my things popping. All right, bring your hands back down to the floor. Let's work into your shoulders a little bit. So just some big shoulder circles. I want you to think about all the ways that you can slide your shoulder blades around your back. You have your protraction, which is spreading them into your armpits. You have your elevation, bringing them up into your ears. You have retraction, you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, and then depression, pulling them towards your waist. And there's infinitely other spaces in between those movements, those 4 north, south, east, and west movements that you can go into. All right, from here we're going to tuck the toes under and just get into downward facing dog, just to mobilize and find your scapular elevation here. So make sure your hands are staying very active. You can bend the knees if you need to, because this is not about your hips right now, this is about your shoulders. Push farther than you think you can. You want to feel your shoulders wrapping around your ears, so you're elevating your shoulders, and then pressing your palms into the floor, drop your chest towards your thighs. So see if you can push a little bit further. And then as you have those shoulders lifting up and wrapping around your ears, slowly roll forward towards a plank pose. So going to take it into like a rounded angry cat plank. So you're in your protracted position right here, pushing the floor away. Kind of hollowing out your chest at the same time. Remember the index knuckle on the floor. Tuck your tailbone under. And then you want to feel that from this protracted state going towards the elevation. So continue to push. Your hands are pretty loaded with your weight. Push back into down dog with all the weight pushing out of your hands and the shoulders lifting up into your ears. Ooh. If you heard that, that was my ankle. All right, so do that again. Keep pushing, elevating, going from the elevation through this elevated protraction, back to protraction. All right, from there, just push back into down dog, step your feet together. We're gonna work a little bit of splits, mobility first, not terribly splitting. Just bringing that left knee down, bring the right foot forward. Stack your left hip over your left knee, and then really energize that left glute, driving the knee down into the floor. You can take your right hand to the top of your right knee. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling, and then reach up and over. So you want to feel like you're growing a little longer on that left side body. But you want to keep really stable through the left glute. And then we're going to drive it forward. So continue to keep that left glute firing. Pull your right heel towards your left knee and pulse. So you don't want to feel like you're dropping into it and rotating out from that left hip. You want to keep that left femur forward. So no external rotation of the left thigh. So you're just pulsing as you pull your right heel towards your left knee. The left glute stays engaged. And then you're going to hold it. So more driving your hips forward than dropping down. And then shifting your weight back. We're coming into something like a split. We're going to flex really hard on that right quad, pull the toes towards your shin, and just tipping your pelvis forward. So maybe a tiny action, 10 times. Doesn't look like much. Feel your kneecaps sliding up. And then you're going to hold it right there. Keep engaging your quad. If you can, slide it out a little bit more. Just the pelvis tipping forward. So if you're rounding forward to get your chest closer to your knee, you don't need to do that. And then place the sole of your right foot on the floor. We're going to come into like a runner's lunge here, nice and strong. Root down and lift your right arch. Keeping the hips square, push your left heel back. From here, you can take it even wider if you want to. So you can have your hands on the floor, or you can just bring it up. Really strong quad, strong glute engagement in that left leg. And you're like, this is a handstand class. Why are you doing this? Because it makes it easier to get up into your handstand. All right, bring that back into your downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, bring your right knee down. Stack your right hip over your right knee. Drive it into the floor. Pelvis feels like it's tucking under because that right glute's so engaged. Left hand to your left knee and reach your right arm up and over. We're bringing it forward, remember, not down, but forward. Driving the hips forward. We're going to pulse, pulling the left heel towards the right knee, not opening the hips up, no external rotation, just driving through that right glute. Driving it forward, pulling back. You should feel it right here. The low abs, you want to keep some tension on them. Keep everything squared forward. If you guys have questions or comments or anything, hopefully everything's going well because I can't see the screen right now, but I will go back and answer questions afterwards in the comments. So at any point you need to ask something, I won't be able to get right to you, but I will get back to you. All right, hold it there. I promise this is going to be hard work. It will be for me. All right, shift it back. Send that left heel forward. We're just tipping from the pelvis. Squeeze out left quad. You feel the front of the shin active. So just finding that little pulse. I like to exaggerate my breath. It's a yoga thing. And then hold it there. And then we're going to do a little bit of spinal mobility, and then we are on as handstands. Handstands, when you practice that kind of stuff, you end up taking more breaks than you think you would. You don't feel like you're working very hard, even though it doesn't look like you're working terribly hard. So everybody come back into a downward facing dog. We're just going to do a little spinal twist here. So you can bend your knees if you want to. Take your right foot underneath you to the left side of you, and then spin onto your heels. So you just want to have both knees bent. We're driving both hips up at the same time. Rotate your left bicep out. Push out of that shoulder, trying to stretch the front of the shoulder capsule. Lift your chest towards the ceiling. Maybe pushing a little bit more out of your right heel to lift that right hip up to the ceiling. Right? Just trying to spin and lift your chest up to the ceiling. And then we're going to take that left hand, reach it up and over towards the right side, or towards the floor rather. But keep driving through your right heel to get a spinal twist. Right, then bring it back down, back to that downward facing dog. Push out of the shoulders just for a second to reset, and then step that left foot underneath. You're going to do the same thing here. So you want to drive through your left heel to lift your left hip as high as your right hip. Spin that left elbow out and push out of the shoulder. So you're going to stretch the front of the shoulder capsule here and lift your heart towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take the spinal twist from here. Keep rooting down through your left heel. Right arm reaches up and over. All right, take it back down. All right, so now we're going to do our first two movements that we're going to set together are going to be handstand. We're going straight for handstands because you usually want to do your highest skill first. So it doesn't have to be a handstand. We're going to do handstand, handstand on the wall, or plank pose. So you can do an elevated plank if you want to lift your feet onto a chair and bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Or you can walk up the wall and face the wall if you want to. Or you can just kick up to the wall. Have your feet on the wall, or maybe you're trying to actually stay away from the wall. So we have 40 seconds of elevating any way that you can, any form from plank pose to a handstand. And then 40 seconds of hollow body hold. So I'll show you level one. If you want to just kick up to the wall, go ahead and get towards the wall. So we're going to do that 3 times. All right. So your best effort to stay in your handstand as long as you can. I'm just going to go ahead and kick up and do a regular handstand, and then I'll show you some alternate versions, but everybody knows if you want to kick up to the wall, you can face the wall if you feel comfortable doing that, if you've already done it. If you don't, but you feel comfortable just kicking up and looking the other way, go ahead and do that. But if you've never done a handstand before, maybe you're starting in a plank pose. All right, so hands down. I'm going to put this right underneath my face. 40 seconds for your first handstand. Go ahead and shift the weight forward into your hands. So if you're in your hollow, or if you're in your plank pose, go ahead and set it into your plank. Otherwise, kick up to the wall, and we're going to hold, and I'll tell you when. Go ahead and start. All right, so when you're in here, in this handstand, wherever you are, you're just working into trying to elevate and push out of the shoulders. Actually, for the first one, when we're doing just holds, don't even worry too much about it. You're just trying to get as much time as you can on your hands. We're 20 seconds in. Woo. 30 seconds in. So 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to take it into a hollow body hold for 40 seconds. All right, bring it down. I'm just going to set it back here. Bring it into your hollow body hold. So hollow body hold, you want to squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your glutes, pull your shoulders into your sockets, reach your hands by your side. There's lots of ways to do this. To take this and amplify it, you bring your hands behind your head. You want to make sure that your lumbar spine is pushed into the floor. That you're not, there's no place for me to slip a hand underneath you right there. If you want to, you can take your arms, if you don't have a big thing behind you, you can take them and reach them back behind you. To break this, press the base of your spine down into the floor and bend the knees. And we're here. All right, give yourself 20 seconds break. We're gonna repeat that 2 more times, and then I'm gonna do something else. So, how you feeling? I feel better already. Something about getting upside down makes me feel like a kid, you know? All right, we're gonna get ready again. Playtime. So set yourself up. Get ready. 3, 2, 1, and elevate. So you're in your regular handstand, in your wall handstand, where you walk up to the wall, facing the wall. You can do a combination of any of them. All right, we are almost 30 seconds in. You can see I'm fighting pretty hard today. Gotta fight for it. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down to the floor. Hollow body hold. So keep reaching through your toes. Make it as hard as you want to or as easy as you want to. Pull the ribs down. Squeeze your glutes together. Squeeze your inner thighs. Lots of energy. Don't let the energy leak. You gotta point the toes. Ten more seconds. All right, how's it going? Woo, and you're done there. All right, 20-second break. 10 seconds. So maybe you're changing it. Maybe you're making it easier now. Maybe it's going to a plank. Go ahead and set yourself up. I'll put this right underneath my face. And 3, 2, 1, take it up. So when you're there, those mental cues that you've got going on are squeeze the floor, use your fingertips, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your inner thighs, make earmuffs with your shoulders, push, push, push. Ooh. My phone's in the wrong place. Or just fight. Fight for it. All right. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Hollow body hold. Hold it here. Remember, you can bend the knees to break the lever, make it a little bit shorter. Just pulling everything in, squeezing everything as tight as you possibly can. We're halfway, we're more than halfway there. We have 10 more seconds. How you guys doing? Oh, let it go. All right, while we're breaking between the next movements, for you guys, come into a little bit of a bridge pose, just to drive the hips up to the ceiling. Maybe you're gonna stretch your quads out a little bit, because what we're gonna do next, you might get some cramps. So, I'll show you those movements first, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, the next couple of movements, I want you to get something that you can elevate your feet on. If you have a chair, it might be a good idea, if you're using a chair, to put it against the wall so that when you put your feet on it and you're pushing, it doesn't slide out from underneath you. So it can be one chair. You may have to have 2 chairs depending on how wide you need to place your feet, but you're probably going to be fine with just one chair. You can do this without a chair, without elevating your feet. You can just do it as like a down dog from a down dog position and dropping your chest and pushing out of your shoulders, thinking scapular elevation, and at the same time you're squeezing from the upper traps. So your chest is actually through your arms, and then thinking continuing to push, and you're trying to take, trying to shift it forward and still elevate the scapula as you protract them. So these are called box rocks, and I'll show you what the movement looks like, and then the other movement that we're gonna bookend that with. So what it looks like is you're coming into a pike position, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. You may want to turn your fingers slightly out, depending on how far you want to drive your shoulders past your wrists. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight forward as far as we can, hollow with the chest out. As you do that, push the floor away and hold that. Quads engaged. We're going to do that for 5 seconds, or the count of 5, and then push through that elevation into that elevation and retraction, and hold that for 5. We're going to do that forward, and backwards, to the count of 5 for each. And then we're going to turn around to a wall, so you may need to move your chair and do some other fun things here. I'm going to sit here, push the fingertips into the floor. Going to do some compression work, and that you don't really need anything. You just need to, you don't even have to use a wall. It's just nice to have something behind you so that you're not leaning back to lift your legs, but you're actually isolating your legs to do the work of that compression. All right, so set it up that you have something to elevate your feet on. Working into our box rocks from here, okay? And I'm not gonna use the timer. I'm gonna use my terribly slow counting skills. So setting yourself up either in your down dog or elevating your feet somewhere. Turn your fingers out if you need to, and find that pike position. Quads are engaging, so you feel like the energy of your quads is lifting up into your hip creases. All right, from there, push out of the shoulders and elevate your shoulders. Make earmuffs with your shoulders, and then lean forward as far as you can. Gonna rotate your biceps out, keep retracting, but elevating for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now push out of the shoulders and pull yourself through and hold here. Continue to push. 4, 3, chest is reaching towards your thighs. 2, 1, keep pushing, elevating, lean forward. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, push, elevate, pull the chest through, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and take it down. Back against the wall. We're gonna start legs together. Tuck the tailbone under. Reach as far forward as you can. Slide your hands back one hand's length, another hand's length. Tent your fingers. Push your fingertips into the floor and scoop up your lower abs. So you're gonna engage your pecs here. Squeeze your inner thighs, point your toes, lift your legs as one for 5, 4, 3, 2, hold at the top of the next one, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Take the legs into a straddle. Same thing, hands down. Do you have a cramp yet? You might, because I do. Point your toes, breathe through it. And lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. If you got a cramp, I like to say embrace the cramp. They're kind of fun. After a while, you get used to them. And then they kind of go away. All right, we're gonna do the box rocks again, but we need to rest for a few more seconds here. Isn't this fun? I have this really cool setup in my house, this big mat. My kid's teaching me jiu-jitsu right now. He's been begging to do that for a really long time, so finally we're here. And it's actually really cool. So it's like a whole dojo in my house now. All right, we ready? Back to our box rocks. So find that place to elevate your feet. Form is everything. So focus on your form more than how far you're gonna lean forward. All right, so pushing out of your shoulders and find that lean. Remember, continue to roll the biceps out, continue to protract and elevate at the same time. 2, 1, quads are engaging. Push, push, push out of the shoulders, elevate, and then push your chest through. Continue to elevate the shoulder blades. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shift it forward, nice and slow through that elevation and protraction, wrapping the triceps back. 3, 2, 1. Push, 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 push. And pull the chest through. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down to the floor. This time, we're gonna start straddle. So legs are straddled, toes are pointed. That means your quads are engaged. Push into the floor, round the spine, scoop up the low abs, hollow out the chest, and lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3. Good. 2, and 1. Bring it together. Reach as far as you can. Slide back, tent the fingers. Hollow at the chest, squeeze your inner thighs. 2 legs become 1. Lift for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, it gets easier, or maybe a little bit harder. Go ahead and stretch your quads out if you need to. Give yourself a minute to restore. Little Swedish massage, whatever works best for you. So when you are doing when I'm doing a regular handstand fitness type practice by myself that involves a lot more just handstanding, I spend a lot more time resting in between. I think I just like to hang out in gyms, so I'm just like talking to people, waiting for the cramps to subside, but it's time. So let's go ahead and get back into that elevated position, or your down dog. Maybe you were elevated and you're taking it down now to the floor. So you're gonna find that fingers spread wide, slight turn out of the fingers. If you wanna try it and turn them out even more, You can take it maybe even farther into a little bit of a planche-like position. So elevate, find your pike, and then shift your weight forward, hollow the chest out, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to push, 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 and elevate. Taking the chest through the arms, and push for 5, 4, rear quads, 3, 2, 1. Continue to push, 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 and come forward, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push, push, push back, up through, and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, push harder, and 1. All right, take it down. Back to your compression work. Ah. All right. Start with your legs together. This time, reach forward, hollow out your chest. Remember, as far forward as you can. Make it harder. The farther you reach, the harder it's going to be. See how far you can do it this time. Make it even harder. Squeeze your inner thighs. All right, do it for 5, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down. All right, point the toes, straddle. All right, ready? Lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down to the floor. Stretch your quads out. Maybe a little bridge pose right here. So the next thing we're going to do, since we are working straight arm strength, is a little bit of single arm, straight arm strength. A little bit of L-sit action as hip flexors, because that really does help a lot in your handstand practice. So we're going to use a chair for that, or you can find something a little bit lower if you want to. There's a couple of ways to do this movement. We're going to work on both sides of the chair. So I'm going to turn it this way. And I really enjoy these. We can do this, this kind of works double duty. We can do this as just the straight arm that's on the floor, working the strength of that. And it's really good to do that because then you know what side maybe has a little bit of a weakness, what side you favor. You may want to work a little bit extra on the side that you have some weaknesses on, or you may want to just put your mind in that and know later that there's things up and down chain that might be something that you need to work on, mobility-wise or strength-wise, or both probably. So this movement is going to be, it's not a movement, it's a static hold. We're going to do one side, either what would be considered like a Lolasana type pendant pose type movement, where your shins are on the floor, you're pushing into one arm, you can use the other arm to help you brace. You're trying to lift off the floor. This one, beginner, keep the toes on the floor, pull the knees into the chest to get this hip flexors working, and put your weight, shift it over into the hand that's on the floor, and you can just hold it. Hold it for 10 seconds. Amplified options there. Extend the legs forward and lift up into more of an L-sit. You know, you can take the heels up, you take one heel down, or even more amplified option from there is to use this more as a straight arm and oblique work on the other side that's close to the chair. So you're going to try to push out of that shoulder right here, the straight arm, and then push away. At the same time, cinch the other side waist so that you're trying to use your obliques to lift this opposite hip up. So it's going to be hands down, legs lift, and then push and hike up that hip. And you're going to hold that. So we're going to do this for just as long as you can. We're going to go 10 seconds on each side. All right? And from there, we're just going to switch sides, take a little bit of a break in between the two. All right? So go ahead and figure out which one you want to do. You want to do the hardest one first, and then take it down a notch and down another notch. That is fine. So set your hand underneath your shoulder for the straight arm. Remember to roll your bicep out. Make sure that you're connecting through your index knuckle. All right, the other one's gonna plant. It's definitely gonna help you a little bit, but you want to continue to push. Remember, out and away if you're lifting the hip. All right, so we're gonna hold that and go ahead and take it where you wanna go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down to the floor, switch sides. Whew. All right, you ready? Hands down, set it up, and go ahead and lift into it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down. Woo. Give yourself a moment to breathe. It's one of my favorite things to do. I like to do this one in the sauna, since you have those 2 levels of the bench seating. I miss the sauna. All right, you ready? Set it up. And go ahead, maybe this time I'll do it just a little asana with the knees bent. So push and lift and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down, switch sides. Woo. We are going to be so ripped when we go back to the gym. All right, you ready? Whatever version you want. Take a deep inhale. Let it out. Let's go. Lift, hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down to the floor. We have one more set. All right, switching sides. Remember, we're just trying for this amount of time. You don't have to be in it for that amount of time, or you can do it longer if you want to. All right, so this one, if you have had your knees bent the whole time, if you've had your legs extended, maybe you're going back and forth, extend the legs, pull them back in. Maybe if your toes have been on the floor the whole time, you pull one heel up into your glute. So just try it and try that one hold and then switch sides. It doesn't matter which one, just make sure you do the opposite on the other side. All right, so are you ready? So push and lift, hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, this is the last one. We're in the home stretch. All right. Give yourself a moment. I hope you guys are enjoying this stuff. Leave comments. I want to know all the things that you're thinking, anything that you're interested in. We have, this is the only way that we're communicating really right now is through social media. So please, the more communication, the better. All right, you guys ready? This is a nice break for me. All right, go. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it down to the floor. All right, we've done a lot of hip flexor work. We've done a lot of shoulder work in all directions. Single arm, straight arm stuff. Let's do a little bit of just stretching out and relaxing at the end of our class. we need to kind of stretch out and open up the side body a little bit if you just did some oblique work. So if you want to, and we'll do some straddle, some more relaxed straddle mobility work right here instead of the compression work. So go ahead and straddle your feet out wide. It doesn't have to be terribly wide. It can be anywhere from 45 degrees to whatever you've got. And just crawl your hands forward. You can relax your legs and let them fall in for a moment. Not trying to make you have a cramp here. So from here, a little bit of side stretching. You can take one foot forward, say the left leg. Here, I'll reverse it for you. So say your left leg is out, right foot's on the inside of your left thigh. We do this in yoga class a lot. You take your left hand to your right knee and twist. So you're twisting, looking back over your right shoulder. We're just gonna try to stretch that right side of the body between your hips and your ribs. So you can pull a little bit with the left hand and then reach up, but root down through that right hip. And then you can reach over. You don't have to take this toe intensely. Often I like to say, use that opposite side waist, the left side waist, to pull yourself in and then to open up on this side. You can do that. You can do the thing that I like to do by holding onto your ankle and then pulling and then reaching up and over. My hip is off the floor on the right side if I'm mirroring you on the right side. So we're just working into stretching that whole side body. If you're rounding over and your chest is going towards the floor, then you're probably missing out on the things that we just worked on. So trying to lift up and not bother to actually touch the opposite foot. And we're going to take it to the other side. And we're going to linger there. So right leg extends, left foot pulls in. Go ahead and go exactly where you were, where you ended up before on the other side. You do want to start with a twist. So maybe don't do it just yet. And then you're pulling, creating that tension and reaching. Or setting the sole of your foot on the floor, the left foot on the floor, and twisting while you reach. All right, whenever you're ready, come back to seated. Maybe feet together for a moment, and you can just fold in and hang out right here for a moment while I say thank you so much for coming in and working this little handstand practice or handstand fitness practice with me. I'm going to do a flow strength type practice that looks kind of similar to yoga, kind of similar to doing these kind of different sets of things. That's a little more fluid in some of these body weight movements, and that's going to be later on this week on Thursday, I think. But check the schedule. We have as much as we put in the schedule. There's always places for things that you want to see, requests that you have. Put them in the comments. I'm going to reply once I sit down and read everything, and keep me posted and keep looking at our social media stuff because it's ever changing and we want to be involved in what you're doing right now as much as possible. So thank you so much for working out with me today. Y'all have a wonderful day. Namaste.